The massive screens in Earth's Defense Command Center blinked to life as thousands of unknown objects appeared at the edge of the solar system. Red dots cluttered the holographic display, moving in perfect formation toward Earth. Admiral James Porter stood from his chair, his experienced eyes scanning the tactical readouts. "Multiple contacts detected beyond Pluto's orbit, sir," reported the young officer at the sensor station. "Count is still increasing. We're looking at over 3,000 vessels." Porter rubbed his gray beard, maintaining his calm despite the gravity of the situation. Humanity had prepared for this day for over 50 years. While the public went about their daily lives thinking Earth was alone in the universe, the world's governments had quietly built up their defenses. "Launch our stealth satellites," Porter ordered. "I want eyes on these visitors before they get anywhere near Mars." The command center buzzed with activity as officers carried out their duties with practiced efficiency. Earth's hidden defensive network, built in secret using technology far beyond what was publicly known, came to life. Quantum computers processed the incoming data at speeds that would have seemed impossible just a decade ago. "Sir, the lead ships are broadcasting some kind of signal," another officer called out. "It's aimed at every major city on Earth." Porter nodded. "Let them broadcast." Diane analyzed the signal. The artificial intelligence that protected Earth's digital networks responded instantly. Its neutral voice filled the command center. "Signal decoded. It appears to be a standard Imperial First Contact package. They are announcing themselves as the Galactic Empire, rulers of 50,000 worlds." A small smile crossed Porter's face. The Empire clearly expected to find a primitive world, unaware that Earth had been monitoring their communications for years. The quantum detection network had picked up their transmissions long ago, giving humanity time to prepare. "Send them our warning message," Porter commanded. "Standard Protocol Alpha." The message was simple but firm. "This is Earth Defense Command. The Sol system is a restricted zone. Your vessels are to halt immediately and await further instructions." The Empire's ships continued forward, ignoring the warning completely. Porter wasn't surprised. Intelligence gathered from their communications had shown them to be arrogant, used to dealing with worlds far less advanced than their own. "They're not slowing down," Admiral reported the tactical officer. "First wave will reach Saturn's orbit in 6 hours." "Very well." Porter pressed a button on his command chair. "This is Admiral Porter to all Earth defense stations. Set condition red. Power up the quantum shield network. And someone wake up the UN Security Council." Across the solar system, hidden installations hummed to life. Defensive platforms that had remained dormant for years activated their cloaking systems. Earth's true technological capabilities were about to be revealed. In orbit, massive satellites shifted their positions, preparing to create an energy field that would make Earth's old missile defense systems look like toys. Deep under the surface of the moon, automated factories began producing autonomous defense drones. The UN Security Council convened in an emergency session within the hour. Director Anna Stone, a tall woman with sharp features and steely determination, addressed the gathered leaders. "Ladies and gentlemen, the moment we've prepared for has arrived. The Galactic Empire believes they found another easy target for conquest. Our intelligence suggests they subjugate worlds through a combination of military might and economic manipulation. They're about to learn that Earth is different." The council members nodded grimly. Years of secret preparations and unified purpose had led to this moment. Earth's nations had set aside their differences when they realized the threat that lurked among the stars. Back in the command center, Porter watched as the Empire's ships crossed the warning line they'd established at Saturn's orbit. Their formation suggested confidence, even arrogance. They clearly expected no resistance from what they assumed was a pre-space flight civilization. "Let's give them their first surprise," Porter said quietly. "Diane, activate the gravity sensors. Show them we can see through their stealth ships." Suddenly, dozens of previously invisible Imperial vessels appeared on the tactical display, their cloaking technology rendered useless by Earth's advanced detection systems. The Empire's first attempt at deception had failed before they even made contact. The battle for Earth's independence was about to begin, but not in the way the Empire expected. Humanity had no intention of fighting fair. They planned to win before the first shot was fired. The Imperial fleet's massive flagship emerged from the swarm of vessels, its dark metal hull stretching 12 kilometers from end to end. On Earth's main display, Admiral Porter watched as a transmission request flashed across the screen. "Put them through," he ordered, straightening his uniform. "Let's hear what they have to say." The screen filled with the image of Imperial Ambassador Lord Marcus, a tall figure with pale blue skin and eyes that gleamed with artificial enhancements. His ornate uniform sparkled with medals and symbols of conquered worlds. "Primitive world," Lord Marcus began, his translator converting his words to perfect English. "You have been blessed by the attention of the eternal Galactic Empire. Your resistance is noted but unnecessary. Submit now, and you will be granted status as a protectorate world." Director Anna Stone stepped forward, her face showing no sign of intimidation. "Ambassador, we've studied your empire's history. We know what happened to the last 30 worlds that accepted your protection. Our answer is no." Lord Marcus's expression shifted from diplomatic smoothness to barely concealed anger. "You dare refuse. Your world has barely reached its space age. We detected your primitive satellites and small space stations. You cannot hope to." His words cut off as Admiral Porter pressed a button. Suddenly, thousands of previously hidden defense platforms became visible around Earth, their quantum shields shimmering like diamonds in the sunlight. "Perhaps," Porter said calmly, "you should scan again." The Imperial Ambassador's eyes widened as new data streamed to his ship. Earth's defensive grid wasn't just advanced, it was beyond anything the Empire had encountered. The quantum shields alone suggested technology centuries ahead of Imperial standards. This is impossible," Lord Marcus sputtered. "Our records show your world only achieved spaceflight 60 years ago." "We're quick learners," Director Stone replied with a slight smile. "Now let me be clear. The Sol system is officially closed to Imperial vessels. You have 1 hour to retreat beyond Pluto's orbit." The ambassador's face turned a deeper shade of blue. "You cannot make demands of the Empire. We control 50,000 worlds. Our fleet will." Admiral Porter cut the transmission with a wave of his hand. "They're powering up weapons, sir," reported the tactical officer. 500 ships are moving to attack positions." "As expected," Porter nodded. "Guardian, initiate defense pattern Delta." The space around Earth's defense grid began to ripple. Quantum fields interlocked, creating layers of protection that would make even the Empire's strongest weapons useless. But Earth wasn't planning to just defend. The first Imperial shots came as a wave of energy beams, meant to overwhelm any primitive defenses. Instead, they hit the quantum shields and simply disappeared, absorbed and redirected into Earth's power grid. "Send them a message," Director Stone commanded. "Show them what happens when they attack Earth." Admiral Porter activated Earth's gravity manipulation system. Targeted fields of distorted space-time reached out toward the Imperial fleet. 20 ships found themselves suddenly unable to move, caught in artificial gravity wells that their engines couldn't overcome. "Impossible." Lord Marcus's voice boomed across the emergency channel. "Your world cannot have this level of technology. We demand to know who has been helping you." "No one helped us," Director Stone replied firmly. "Humanity developed these defenses on our own. We saw you coming, Ambassador. We've been watching your empire's expansion for years. Did you think we would just wait to be conquered?" The trapped Imperial ships struggled against the gravity fields, their engines overheating from the strain. Other vessels attempted to rescue them, only to find themselves caught in similar traps. "Final warning," Admiral Porter announced. "Retreat now, or we will be forced to demonstrate our offensive capabilities." The Imperial fleet hung in space, caught between their orders to subjugate Earth and the shocking realization that they faced a civilization far more advanced than they had believed possible. Their entire battle strategy had been based on fighting a primitive world. Instead, they faced defenses that made their best weapons look like children's toys. Lord Marcus's voice returned, this time without its previous arrogance. "We request time to consult with Imperial High Command." "Granted," Director Stone said, "but your weapons remain powered down, and your ships stay where they are. Any aggressive move will be met with immediate response." As the Empire's fleet froze in place, the officers in Earth's command center allowed themselves small smiles. The first test of humanity's defenses had worked perfectly. Now came the real challenge, forcing the Empire to accept that their era of easy conquest was over. Imperial High Command took exactly 6 hours to respond. During that time, their tracked ships hung helplessly in Earth's gravity fields, a sight that was being broadcast across thousands of worlds despite the Empire's attempts to block the transmission. "They're moving again," announced the tactical officer. 100 ships breaking from the main fleet. They're on an attack vector. Admiral Porter watched the tactical display as the Imperial vessels formed a wedge formation. The Empire was about to learn an expensive lesson about human ingenuity. "Let them come," Director Stone said firmly. "It's time to show them exactly what they're dealing with." The Imperial ships accelerated, their engines glowing bright against the darkness of space. Leading them was a massive dreadnought, bristling with weapons that could normally devastate an entire planet. "Imperial broadcast incoming," Guardian announced. Lord Marcus's face appeared on the screen again, but this time he wasn't alone. Behind him stood Admiral Rex of the Imperial fleet, a scared veteran of 1,000 conquests. "Your defenses are impressive," Admiral Rex growled, "but they cannot stand against the full might of an Imperial battle squadron. Surrender now, or face complete destruction." Porter smiled. "Guardian, show them what a real defense system looks like." Around Earth, the quantum shield network shifted. Instead of staying in a fixed position, the shields began to move, forming complex geometric patterns that seemed to bend the very fabric of space. The Imperial ships fired their main weapons. Planet-killer beams of energy streaked toward Earth, powerful enough to crack a world's crust. But as they hit the moving shield patterns, something extraordinary happened. The energy beams twisted, turned, and folded back on themselves. Earth's quantum shields didn't just block the attacks, they redirected them. 100 Imperial weapons fired, and 100 beams returned to their sources. "Impossible," Admiral Rex shouted as his ships scattered, desperately trying to avoid their own reflected firepower. 3 Imperial vessels weren't fast enough. They exploded in silent bursts of light, victims of their own weapons. "That was your first and last free demonstration," Director Stone announced calmly. "The next ship that fires on Earth will not receive a warning." But Admiral Rex wasn't finished. He ordered his remaining ships to launch their most advanced weapons, quantum torpedoes designed to pierce any known shield. Porter pressed a series of commands on his console. "Activate the gravity lenses." Space itself seemed to bend around Earth's defense grid. The incoming torpedoes suddenly found themselves traveling through corridors of twisted gravity. Some imploded under the strain. Others were caught in infinite loops, trapped in microscopic gravity wells where they would orbit forever. "Now," Porter said quietly, "let's show them our offensive capabilities. Guardian, deploy the drone swarms." From hidden bases on the moon, thousands of small, autonomous craft emerged. Each one was powered by technology the Empire had never seen before. They moved without engines, controlled local gravity at will, and could outmaneuver anything in the Imperial fleet. The drones surrounded the attacking squadron in seconds. They didn't fire weapons. They didn't need to. Instead, they created overlapping fields of quantum distortion that simply shut down any technology they touched. One by one, Imperial ships went dark. Their mighty engines died. Their weapons fell silent. Even their life support systems began to fail, forcing emergency systems to activate. Perhaps, Director Stone suggested to the increasingly pale Admiral Rex, You'd like to reconsider your attack." The Imperial Admiral watched in horror as his elite squadron drifted helplessly in space. 80 warships, among the most powerful in the Empire, had been defeated without Earth firing a single shot. "This is impossible," Lord Marcus whispered. "No world at your stage of development could have this technology. You must be receiving help from someone." "No," Porter replied. "Humanity developed this technology on our own. We saw your empire coming years ago, and we prepared. The real question is, how many ships are you willing to lose before you accept that Earth is off-limits?" The remaining Imperial vessels began to retreat, their mighty engines pushing them back toward the safety of the main fleet. On countless worlds across the Empire, beings of all species watched the broadcast in stunned silence. The mighty Empire, which had conquered 50,000 worlds, had just been defeated by a single planet, and Earth had done it without destroying a single ship, just sending them home with their engines between their legs. "Send word to Imperial High Command," Director Stone commanded. "The Sol system is now officially closed to all Imperial traffic. Any further incursions will be met with even stronger measures." As the Imperial ships withdrew, Porter looked at the tactical display with satisfaction. Phase 3 was complete. Now it was time for the real game to begin. 3 days after the failed attack, a single Imperial shuttle approached Earth. Inside the United Nations Security Chamber, Admiral Porter and Director Stone waited as Imperial Chief Diplomat Thomas Gray was escorted in. Unlike the blue-skinned Lord Marcus, Gray appeared almost human, except for his silver eyes and slightly gray skin tone. "Welcome to Earth," Director Stone said, gesturing to an empty seat at the large round table. "We trust your journey was comfortable." Gray's face remained neutral as he sat down. "Let's not pretend this is a friendly meeting. I've been sent by Imperial High Command to understand how a single world dares to challenge the might of the Empire." Porter activated a holographic display in the center of the table. "Perhaps we should begin by discussing why we chose to ban the Empire from our solar system." The hologram showed dozens of worlds, each one a former protectorate of the Empire. Data scrolled beside each planet. Statistics about resource depletion, population decline, and economic collapse. "We've been watching," Porter continued. "Every world that accepts Imperial protection follows the same pattern. First comes the trade agreements, then the resource rights, finally, complete economic control." Gray's silver eyes narrowed. "You've been spying on Imperial communications." "We prefer the term gathering intelligence," Director Stone replied with a slight smile. "Your encryption was impressive, but Guard-IN broke it years ago." The diplomat's composed facade cracked slightly. "Impossible. Our quantum encryption is based on technology we surpassed a decade ago," Porter interrupted. He pressed another button, and new images appeared. "These are from the mining colonies on Proxima Beta. The Empire promised them prosperity. Instead, you stripped their world bare and left the population to starve." Gray leaned back in his chair, studying the humans with new interest. "What exactly do you want?" "It's quite simple," Director Stone said. "The Empire will acknowledge Earth's sovereignty and agree to stay out of the Sol system. All of it. From the Orc cloud inward. No ships, no probes, no surveillance. And if we refuse..." Porter changed the hologram again. This time it showed the quantum shield network, but with new details even the Empire hadn't seen. "Then we'll extend our defensive perimeter. For every Imperial incursion, we'll push our shields out further." "How long before other worlds realize they can resist too? Are you threatening to share your technology?" Gray asked sharply. "Not at all," Stone replied. "We're simply stating facts. The Empire's power relies on its reputation for invincibility. That reputation ended 3 days ago, when we sent your fleet running without firing a shot." Gray stood up and walked to the chamber's window, looking out at the peaceful Earth below. "You realize the Empire cannot appear weak. We control 50,000 worlds through strength and fear. And that's precisely the problem, Porter said. Your empire is built on conquest and exploitation. Earth chooses a different path. The diplomat turned back to face them. What if we offered you a special status? Full autonomy, trade rights, technology exchange? No, Stone cut him off. This isn't a negotiation. It's a notification. The Sol system is closed to the Empire. Period. Porter activated one final hologram, a recording of the recent battle. We've broadcast this across your communications network. Every world in the Empire has seen how their invincible fleet was turned away by a single planet. What do you think that will do to your control over those 50,000 worlds? Gray's face paled slightly. You're starting a revolution. No, Stone corrected him. We're showing the galaxy that revolution is possible. The choice of what happens next lies with the Empire. The diplomat sat down heavily. The Emperor will never accept this. The Emperor, Porter said quietly, doesn't have a choice. We've uploaded the specifications of our defensive grid to your ship's computer. Your scientists will confirm what we already know. You can't break through our shields. You can't jam our signals. You can't even detect our surveillance systems. Stone stood up, indicating the meeting was ending. Take our message back to Imperial High Command. The Sol system is now a restricted zone. Any Imperial ship that enters our space will be turned away. Any attempt to force entry will be met with increasingly severe responses. As Gray was escorted back to his shuttle, Porter and Stone watched from the command center as his ship departed. Do you think they'll actually listen? A junior officer asked. No, Porter replied with a grim smile. But that's exactly what we're counting on. Because when they try again, we'll be ready to show them even more of what humanity can do. Stone nodded. And every failed attempt will inspire more worlds to resist. The Empire's greatest weapon was always fear. Now we've shown the galaxy they don't need to be afraid anymore. 2 weeks after the diplomatic meeting, Guardian detected unusual energy signatures at the edge of the solar system. Admiral Porter was reviewing the data when Director Stone rushed into the command center. They're testing us, Porter said without looking up. 30 stealth ships trying to slip through the Kuiper Belt. The Empire thinks their new cloaking technology can fool our sensors. Stone watched the tactical display where tiny dots of light marked each hidden Imperial vessel. They never learn, do they? Guardian, Porter called out, show us what their stealth ships are carrying. The AI's detailed scans appeared on the main screen, detecting surveillance equipment, electronic warfare systems, and biological agents. They appear to be carrying engineered viruses designed to target Earth's population. Porter's face hardened. So they've moved from military force to attempted genocide. Time to show them why that's a bad idea. He pressed a sequence of commands, and Earth's automated defense platforms came to life. These weren't the simple gravity weapons used in the first encounter. These were humanity's real defensive weapons. Stealth ships detected at coordinates Mark 7, Guardian announced, initiating Protocol Omega. In space, invisible beams of focused quantum energy reached out toward the Imperial vessels. These beams didn't destroy the ships. They did something far worse. They rewrote the fabric of space-time around each vessel, creating what scientists called probability bubbles. Inside these bubbles, the ship's stealth systems began to malfunction. Their cloaking fields flickered and died. Their engines sputtered as quantum uncertainty made it impossible for their systems to function properly. Imperial ships now visible to all standard detection systems, Guardian reported. Their presence has been broadcast to every communication network in range. Stone smiled grimly. Let's show the galaxy what happens when the Empire tries to release bioweapons on a civilian population. Porter nodded and activated Earth's newest defense system. Swarms of microscopic robots, each one smaller than a grain of dust, surrounded the Imperial ships. These nanobots didn't attack. They simply sealed every hull breach, covered every sensor, and trapped the ships in cocoons of intelligent matter. "Attention Imperial vessels," Porter broadcast. "Your attempted stealth mission has failed. Your bioweapons have been detected and contained. You are now trapped in quantum containment fields. Please enjoy your stay." The Imperial ships tried to fire their engines, but nothing happened. They launched escape pods, but the pods couldn't penetrate the nanobot barriers. They were completely trapped, unable to move or communicate with their fleet. "Message from Imperial High Command," Guardian announced. "They're denying any knowledge of this operation. Send them our evidence package," Stone ordered. "Every scan, every transmission, every piece of data we've collected. Broadcast it all across their networks. Let every world see how the mighty Empire tried to kill an entire planet in secret." The data streamed out across the galaxy. Earth's quantum communication network, far more advanced than Imperial technology, ensured that no censorship could stop the truth from spreading. "Imperial ships attempting emergency self-destruct," Guardian reported. "Not today," Porter said quietly. The nanobot swarms had already disabled those systems. "Pull them in. Let's give their crews a close-up view of the planet they tried to destroy." The trapped Imperial ships were slowly towed toward Earth's orbit. As they passed the moon, they saw the massive defense installations hidden on its far side. As they approached Earth, they witnessed the full extent of humanity's technological advancement. "Send a message to Imperial High Command," Stone commanded. "The rules have changed. Any further attempts to enter the Sol system will result in the ships and crews being permanently detained. We're done playing nice." Porter added, "And remind them that every piece of their stealth technology has just been rendered obsolete. The next time they try something like this, we won't just stop them. We'll send our own ships out to find every stealth vessel in their fleet." The Empire's failed infiltration attempt had just cost them dearly. Not only had they lost 30 of their most advanced ships, but their reputation for technological superiority was crumbling. Across the galaxy, other worlds watched and learned. Earth had not just defended itself. It had shown the galaxy that the Empire's most advanced technology could be defeated by a single world they had dismissed as primitive. The balance of power was shifting, and everyone knew it. As the captured Imperial crews were taken into custody, Porter looked at the tactical display showing hundreds more Imperial ships still waiting beyond Pluto's orbit. "They'll try again," he said. Stone nodded. "Of course they will. And each time they fail, more worlds will see that the Empire isn't invincible. The real question is, how many ships are they willing to lose before they accept the new reality?" The news spread across the Empire like wildfire. On 50,000 worlds, beings of all species watched recordings of Earth's victories. They saw the mighty Imperial fleet turned away, stealth ships captured, and the Empire's most advanced weapons rendered useless. In the Earth Defense Command Center, Admiral Porter and Director Stone watched as Guardian displayed reports from across the galaxy. 3 more systems have declared independence, Guardian announced. The mining worlds of Centauri Block, the agricultural planets of the Orient sector, and the manufacturing systems of the Carina Spiral. Stone studied the tactical display showing the spreading rebellion. The Empire's responding with military force. "They're trying," Porter replied. "But their fleets are stretched thin. They have to maintain their blockade of Earth while dealing with uprisings across 20 sectors." The main screen showed scenes from various worlds. On Centauri Block, miners used their deep core equipment to repel Imperial troops. In the Orient sector, agricultural ships transformed into makeshift warships. The Carina Spiral's manufacturing plants now produced weapons instead of consumer goods. "Message incoming from the Resistance on Proxima Beta," Guardian reported. The screen showed the face of Commander Wilson, leader of the rebellion on the mining world Earth had mentioned during the negotiations. His people had suffered the most under Imperial rule. "Earth Defense Command," Wilson said, his voice filled with hope. "We've driven out the Imperial garrison, but their fleet is returning with reinforcements. We request assistance." Porter looked at Stone, who nodded. "Send them the defensive specs," Porter ordered. the basic shield patterns and gravity control systems. Nothing too advanced, but enough to protect themselves. Transmitting data, Guardian confirmed. Similar requests are coming in from 12 other systems. Stone watched as Earth's quantum network distributed technical information across the galaxy. "We're not giving them weapons," she said firmly. "Just the means to protect themselves. What they do with that protection is their choice." The tactical display updated again. Imperial ships were retreating from multiple sectors as local defense systems came online. The Empire's standard tactics, overwhelming force and orbital bombardment, no longer worked against worlds protected by Earth's shield technology. Imperial High Command is demanding we stop sharing technology, Guardian reported. They claim we're violating galactic law. Porter laughed. Remind them that their own laws permit technology sharing between independent systems. They can't stop us without admitting they don't actually believe in their own rules. More reports flooded in. The Empire's economy was in chaos as trade routes shifted. Worlds that had been exploited for centuries now refused to ship resources. Imperial warships found themselves denied access to refueling stations. Message from the Carina Manufacturing Alliance, Guardian announced. They're offering Earth preferred trading status in exchange for more defensive technology. Accept, Stone ordered. But make our terms clear. They can only use the technology for defense, never conquest. The revolution was spreading faster than even Earth had anticipated. The Empire's iron grip on the galaxy had been built on fear and superior technology. Now that their technological advantage was gone, fear was being replaced by hope. Multiple Imperial vessels are defecting, Guardian reported. Ship captains and crews are refusing orders to attack civilian targets. Porter nodded in satisfaction. The Empire's biggest mistake was building their fleet from conquered worlds. Those crews are finally realizing they can choose their own path. The main screen showed a new development. Representatives from free worlds were gathering on a neutral planet to form an alliance. Not an empire built on conquest, but a cooperative dedicated to mutual defense and fair trade. They're calling it the Independent Systems Alliance, Stone observed, and they want Earth to join as a founding member. Decline for now, Porter ordered. We'll help protect them, trade with them, but Earth needs to remain neutral. The moment we join any alliance, we become a target. Stone agreed. Our role is to show them what's possible, not to lead them. Each world needs to choose its own future. Guardian's displays showed the ongoing collapse of imperial authority. After centuries of absolute power, the Empire was discovering that fear and force couldn't stand against hope and determination. The Empire's requesting another diplomatic meeting, Guardian reported. Of course they are, Porter said with a grim smile. But this time, they'll be negotiating from a position of weakness. The galaxy is changing, and they know it. Stone looked at the tactical display, now showing hundreds of free worlds. They should have listened when we just wanted to be left alone. Now they have to deal with an entire galaxy that's learned to say no. 1 year after Earth first banned the Galactic Empire from its space, Admiral Porter stood before the United Nations, presenting his final report. The room was packed with representatives from every nation, eager to hear about the dramatic changes in the galaxy. The Empire now controls only 15,000 worlds, Porter announced, down from 50,000 at the start of the year. Their remaining territories are mostly their core worlds, where their control was strongest. Director Stone stepped forward, activating a holographic map of the galaxy. Vast sections once marked in Imperial red now showed green, indicating independent systems. The Protected Space Treaty has been a tremendous success, she reported. Over 200 formerly Imperial worlds have signed, agreeing to use Earth's defensive technology only for protection, never conquest. The hologram shifted to show new trade routes crisscrossing the galaxy. These weren't the old Imperial lanes that funneled resources to the core worlds. These were free trade routes, connecting independent systems in a web of mutual prosperity. Guardian, show us the latest economic data, Porter commanded. The AI displayed charts showing the transformation. Worlds that had been stripped of resources under imperial rule were recovering. Free trade had replaced forced quotas. Independent worlds were developing their own technologies, building on the defensive systems Earth has shared. Message incoming from the Independent Systems Alliance, Guardian announced. The main screen showed the Alliance's council chamber, where representatives from 300 worlds gathered. Commander Wilson, now serving as Alliance chairman, addressed Earth. 1 year ago, we thought resistance was impossible, he said. Earth showed us we were wrong. Not by fighting our battles, but by showing us we could fight our own. Stone nodded in acknowledgement. Earth's policy remains unchanged. We will defend any world that asks for help, but we won't join any alliance. Our role is to protect, not to rule. The UN representatives applauded this statement. Earth had learned from the Empire's mistakes. Power corrupts, and even the noblest intentions can lead to tyranny. Imperial diplomatic request, Guardian reported. The new Emperor wishes to speak. Porter gave permission, and the screen split to show the Imperial Palace. The old Emperor had been deposed months ago. In his place sat a younger leader, one who had seen the need for change. Earth, the new Emperor began. You have transformed the galaxy. We fought you, tried to trick you, and failed at every turn. Now we must ask, will you accept a lasting peace? Stone stepped forward. Peace has always been an option. Are you finally ready to accept that not every world needs to bow to imperial rule? The Emperor nodded slowly. We have learned our lesson. The Empire will return to its original borders. We offer fair trade agreements to all independent worlds, and we acknowledge Earth's right to defend its space. And the protected space treaty? Porter asked. We will respect it, the Emperor replied. Any world that wishes to leave the Empire may do so. We will not interfere with their choice. The UN chamber erupted in applause. This was more than a victory. It was a complete transformation of galactic society. The age of empire was ending, replaced by an era of independence and cooperation. There's one more thing, Stone announced. Guardian, show them. The AI displayed Earth's latest achievement. Plans for a new type of ship. Not a warship, but an exploration vessel designed to seek out new worlds and new species. Now that peace is established, Porter explained, Earth will begin its own journey to the stars. Not to conquer or rule, but to explore and learn. Any world that wishes to join us in this mission is welcome. The response was immediate. Dozens of worlds offered to participate in the exploration program. Even some imperial worlds expressed interest, showing how much had changed. 1 year ago, Stone addressed the UN. We simply wanted the Empire to leave us alone. Instead, we sparked a revolution that freed half the galaxy. But our greatest achievement wasn't military or technological. Porter nodded. Our greatest achievement was showing the galaxy that freedom is possible. That any world, no matter how small, can stand up to tyranny. As the meeting ended, Earth's sensors detected the last Imperial ships leaving the solar system. They weren't retreating in defeat this time. They were withdrawing in respect. Guardian's displays showed the new reality. A galaxy where worlds could choose their own path, where trade replaced tribute, and where Earth's example had shown that sometimes the strongest defense was simply saying no. The age of empires was over. The age of freedom had begun. And it all started because one small planet dared to ban an empire from its space.